guys. Oh my God, it's been too long. So I'm using Restream because apparently I couldn't get the Facebook like usual to work on my computer. And you guys know I used to have this, I have the Facebook FOD situation would allow me to just really go on and do Facebook Live. But I had like such a nudge to get on here and talk today and actually kind of like share what's been going on with me this past year, what I'm up to. I know I've been busy posting pictures of me with robot dogs, and I really just kind of want to share a story because people do inbox me and they just say like, "Hey, you're inspiring me. Like you're showing up. You're giving this content." And then yesterday I did a podcast with my dear friend and my Pilates instructor, Chelsea. So I can't wait till that comes out, talking about self-care and what it means to me. And I just thought it was just the right time to just get on here and share. So it's like whoever's coming in or whoever's watching this later, like, hello, everybody. I used to do live videos every week, and I couldn't tell you the last time I did a live video. Like, I think the last time I did a live video was last May or it was last June. Usually I'm always doing podcasts and stuff like that. And to be honest, I haven't done a podcast. Actually, I still have a podcast, and I know if she even watched this, I have a podcast with Leah Still that I'm still going to release, and it's so good, and I think that the perfect timing is coming up now. But I've been doing a lot of rebranding and restructuring of my business and just really kind of focusing on the infrastructure of my business. But for a while, everybody knew I was like offering coaching programs, I was offering mentorship, and I really kind of like stepped back from all of that. More or less my energy is towards doing consulting, B2B. And if you're familiar with my company, Circa 81 Design, which is a full service consulting firm that specializes in design, a broad range of engineering and operation management. And to be honest, before I even stepped into offering coaching programs and doing transformation, I was already immersed into the world of engineering and design and consulting, doing operation. That has always been me. So if you're new to me, I know you've seen me talk about a lot of spiritual things, and that's just me, period. I'm a spiritual person, a spiritual being, just having a physical experience on this earth. And I get to share my wisdom with everybody. But if you've seen lately, I've been dropping pictures of me in factories, and I was yesterday hanging out with a robot dog named Spot. I got to actually finally, I've been trying to get into this place forever, the Smart Factory, which was built by Deloitte. If you guys know who Deloitte is one of the largest consulting firms in the world. And so they do everything from audit to advisory to broad range consulting, which is defense work, automation tech, all those things, the things that I'm very immersed in and I just never really shared because I thought, and to be honest, I thought that maybe I could build a coaching business faster than that, and so that's why I had really kind of jumped into coaching. But then I really kind of found out that I'm already coaching and mentoring my clients when I'm working with them and I'm consulting them, right? And then I'm also sitting in some other businesses that I'm partnered with that I am advisory. So I'm coaching and mentoring those people within this. So it's like I'm still coaching and mentoring, but in a different aspect, right? But I had decided to go and really, well, first of all, I took a whole semester off from my engineering program, which I am graduating in this fall, which super, super excited about. And in the midst of that, I was just on here making so much content. I was just making content galore. Like I was just building myself. And in the midst of that, I was working with my mentor. I was doing a lot of healing work behind the scenes, really just, more than mindset work, just a lot of generational work. And then it was like it came time and things just kind of floated in place. And then I got back into the swing of everything with my program. And I was like, this is where I needed to be. This is where my focus needs to be. I don't know if a lot of you know, I mean, I can talk about my things. Like, my goal later on in life is to be a developer. And so if you know that I am in the world of home design, I'm in the world of construction management, project management, I do lean manufacturing. It's now a heavy emphasis on lean. If you're familiar with Lean Six Sigma, which is a methodology that is used by the entire world, is used by majority of these large companies that you are in cahoots with, are used by these consulting agencies, they're used by the government. Is how we run the world, is how we use this methodical process of doing things. And I have really just fell in love with lean along the way, and also fell in love with lean as the aspect of manufacturing. Because the reason I even got into this engineering program, and let's just backtrack to how I even got here, because everybody's always like, how the hell did you get into engineering, right? So if you know, I've always had a business since I was like 10, but and I always knew since I was 5 I would be a successful businesswoman. That was always a goal. It was always to have my own business. After I graduated from Jackson State in 2004, I had changed from a biology major to mass comm, just so I could get out of the program, because I was playing college sports and it was a lot to, balance. So I decided to just switch to mass comm. Looking at hindsight back and forth, looking back now, best thing I ever did, because engineers struggle to communicate with people. They struggle to get the techno aspect to the people, to the market, and being able to articulate that without talking in this engineering jargon that some people are like, what are you saying, right? So we had that check mark. And then for some reason, in the middle of me trying to figure things out, I was like, let me go get an MBA. And while I was living in California, I got an MBA. I don't ever talk about it much, but yes, so everybody knows in this video, I have an MBA. And I've worked in the family business basically my entire life. So along with working in the family business and working in some aspects of corporate America, working in the banking industry, working in the retail industry, working in PR, I've picked up so many transferable skills that I am a wealth of knowledge. I am actually a well of knowledge that a lot of people don't know, that because like I'm always goofing off, but when it comes to work, I am really, to tell the truth, that's just my personality. I'm a goofy person. And so I'm always, if I'm not laughing, like, what are we doing? So with that being said, I got an MBA. I was like, I'm not going back to school. Like, I'm done with school. I ended up losing my job, best thing ever in the world, after a brink of burnout and not being able to work for 4 months. And then I moved back home. I got this tug to come back home from California. I was trying to go to the East Coast. It just wasn't working. It wasn't in alignment for me. But the alignment was for me to come back home. And I was like, I don't want to come home. But, I needed that support system for my son. I needed that support system to start a new business, which was Circa 81 Kids, which was a luxury children's online retail, which I actually wanted to become a brick and mortar, which I felt at the time, I'm glad I did not create a brick and mortar, because we didn't end up going into the pandemic. And it just was, people are looking for an experience when they come into stores. And it's so funny because I sat in a focus group with women last year. And the women were like, you had this store? And I was like, yeah, I was doing all kind of stuff. I was doing pop-ups everywhere. I was, but I had one thing I'm good at is creating relationships, and I had customer loyalty. So with that being said, and moving forward, I started getting burned out from that business. I started getting burned out for retail. And I was just like, my friend came to me who passed away last October, and he was like, Amber, what do you really want to do? And I was like, I want to design children's furniture. So he held me to it, and I sketched for like 100 days. So I have over like 100 and some sketches. And I was like, you know what? I got this idea. Why don't I go to the tech school and learn how to do this online? Sketch it on the computer. So I enrolled in this, come to find out, a mechanical engineer technology program at WSU Tech, which actually my son goes to now. And I was like, okay, let me figure this out, right? So in the midst of, the lady was like, you're in a mechanical engineer program. I was like, this is engineering? Like, I love this. And then I was immersed with a bunch of guys that like were supporting me, that were enthralled in me, and like, how did you get here? Like, I want to know your story. And they were just like, I was telling them like, I could do way more with this. Maybe I should go to WSU and just get a master's in this or just a degree in it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to get a whole 4-year degree. I'm just going to go get another master's in it. And then, to gain more of this technical skills and really just emerge more into the world of engineering. And it was like a light bulb went off and I did it. So I went to the school and, the process started. They were trying to talk me into doing a 4-year. I'm like, I'm not doing a 4-year degree. Okay. I'm not doing that. And then I moved forward and I end up having to take some classes to be able to get into the master's program. The only class I really needed to get into the master's program was the calculus class. I had not taken calculus. The highest math I had ever taken was trig. So I got through their calculus class, took it in the middle of the pandemic. And in the midst of the pandemic, my family were already in the process of retiring, and my dad and mom were selling their business. And I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to jump? I'm not ready to jump. I'm not ready to do this. And I know a lot of women and men are scared. I feel like that's just like the best time to do something is when you're scared. I actually wrote a post yesterday, like, if I don't get a tinge of fear when I do something, it's probably not big enough, right? But this was huge. I was like, this is huge. Like, am I going to quit my job along with my parents? I'm not ready. I don't know what's going on with circuiting with kids. I'm in the midst of, I'm not even in this engineer program. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I just stayed, and they ended up giving me a management position, which at the end of the day was brilliant because I moved into the world of really managing people. And I've done that before, but believe me, if you're going to run a business, you need to know HR. You need to know how to manage people, how to hire people. I knew how to hire people. You need to know how to fire people fast and fire them fast, right? I had people at that time steal money from me, but the reason I was able to catch her the day she did it is because of the systems and the processes we had in place of the money situation when she stole from me. And at the end of the day, when I count the money back, I was like, why is there not money here? And the last person who touched this money was the girl that I counted it with. So there were so many. My mom was like, you're getting the best experience as a manager. I had to fire a girl. A girl quit on me the day she quit, not even put in a 2-week notice. And so I have a different point of view when it comes to business, a 360 point of view when it comes to business. And I'm able to do that when I'm consulting or just giving this wisdom to my clients who are wanting to start a business or have a business or wanting to add these emerging technologies, or they're wanting to build a new build, which I have a process right now where I have a big project right now where I'm doing a wellness facility ranch in Texas. I can't wait to show you guys more about that, but this is like actually my dream project. And was one of the reasons why God stopped me from doing a lot of the stuff that I was doing before. And I'm just like, that's not what I was supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing something bigger. So in the midst of that, I decided to quit my job in the middle of pandemic. It was like I was working in healthcare. It was bad. They're wanting you to get the shot. They're wanting you to wear masks all the time. I was like, I can't do this. This is stressful. People are getting sick. And I can say this on my video, like I never once got sick. But I was like, this is stressful and I don't need this type of stress, being that I'm building my business already. So I decided in December of 2020 that I was going to quit my job. I quit my job. And I said to myself, I'm probably not going to get into that program until I quit my job. As soon as I quit my job, 2-3 weeks later, I got the acceptance letter that I got into the master's program. Like, my mom was asking me the other day, now, how did you get into this master's program for engineering and you don't have any, like, it's not that I don't have any experience, because to be honest, I've been prepped in science and engineering and medicine my entire life. So it never was, and I started off, taking all the requirements for that. So I didn't have to take some of those requirements because I already had them for my freshman year of undergrad because I was a biology major. But it was the most amazing day when I got that acceptance letter, because like everything just started happening. Like even a couple weeks later after I quit my job, because the job I worked for did not want me to quit. They were like, can you stay another month? So I ended up staying another month. But as soon as I left that job, I got, this is what I say, like, you never know who's watching you, right? I had a production company from HGTV reach out to me about they were starting a new show with interior designers that they use different methodology of doing their designs. And they reached out to me and I was like, whoa, what? How? Like, okay, like what? And it didn't go through, but it was literally the catalyst that I knew I was moving in the right direction, right? Moving forward, I just started having people come out of the blue, like, hey, I want to work with you. And then that was the time I had somebody come to me and they were like, I want you to coach me. And then I was like, well, maybe this is a sign I need to go full on with coaching. But to be honest, we're going to fast forward to this past year, the last 6-7 months, when I got back into school and I had to retake this statistics class that kicked my butt, but I ended up passing it. That's all that matters. I passed it. But one of my teachers in the class was telling me that, when I first started, when I was in his class, like, he's like, engineering is a feminine discipline. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's very intuitive. And it made sense why it just comes easy to me. All of these things come easy to me. And yesterday was pure alignment of me. I'm in the right direction. This entire month of March has been pure alignment that I'm moving in the right direction. And even in the direction for the factory that I'm one day going to build. But yesterday I got to visit the smart factory that Deloitte built. And if you're familiar with Wichita, Kansas, or just the state of the Kansas, we are the air capital of the world. And any plane that you've ever ridden in was a piece of it, or the body of it was made here. So we're heavy on aerospace, we're heavy on aircraft. People, everybody from Beyonce to shoot, everybody comes here to get their private jets. So if you're familiar with Kansas, you understand that, because people say to me, what's in Kansas? And I'm like, okay, you don't really do business, so you just don't know. Not putting you down or anything, but I mean, the people that know, they know, right? So yesterday I was in the smart factory. It was amazing, just looking at the facilities and understanding every aspect of how this smart factory works and what kind of technologies they were using, the automation, the artificial intelligence, which is machine learning, the big data, full stack, just all the pieces that go into running a digital factory using 4.0 technologies. And it's so funny because, I asked the question, like, how close are we to 5.0 industry? And the reason why we call it 4.0, we start from 1.0, which is the Industrial Revolution. We have Andrew Carnegie, Vanderbilt, when the trains came along and we were logistically moving everything from on trains, when trains were actually the backbone of the United States. I think that if you want to really understand how this industrial revolution happened and how we continue to move forward, I think you need to know the history of it all, right? And there's a really good documentary that you can watch. It's called The Men Who what is it called? The Men Who Made America, right? It's really good. It just talks about the Industrial Revolution, how we got to these factories, how we got to unions, how we got to newspapers, how we got to the Democratic and the Republican Party, how we got to fake news. Like, I think it's a really good documentary for you to watch. I've watched it a couple of times just to really understand the history of it all. And I just felt the need to really get on here and talk about it, just to really share, because that's one of my parts of my human design, is to share, because you just don't know who you're inspiring. You don't know who needs to hear that message that, like, just start. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are. I was on a message board yesterday, and there was a 45-year-old that said, "I'm 45. Can I learn Python and get a job?" Yes, you can. Like, if anything, now's the time to really dive into how you can bring your skills to the table for this next industrial revolution we're going through, this manufacturing revolution that we're going through, that a lot of people, are not like, they're not understanding what's happening right now, this market correction we're going right now, and how those jobs that survive recession proof, those jobs that are recession proof, and how these workers are the backbone of our country, right? And how we make it safer for them to work. And that is part of my entire legacy, is the well-being part of it, and my well-being part in design, and my well-being part in manufacturing, and making sure that we're creating safe workspaces for people to show up to work and be able to feel safe, right? Because that's a new thing that a lot of people are just talking about. They're like, I just don't feel safe. I don't feel safe in my workplace. And so it's a lot of the foundational work of what I'm doing, and along the way, I'm just gaining more skills. I just remember back in 2016, I was like, I got to up my skill set, right? I got to up my skill set. Your skills can transfer into different fields all the time. I don't think people understand how some of your technical skills can transfer into engineering. You might not know you're an undercover engineer, you just didn't know it, right? But I think sometimes people get caught up in the math, which, I didn't. It's just do the math. Like, I've always really kind of been good in math, so I didn't really see that as a barrier, as something for me. But I really wanted to get up here and share, because we are just living in some times where people need to do some hard pivots, and they really need to take account of how they're moving in this ecosystem that we have right now, and how this ecosystem is changing rapidly and fast. And I think it's very important for me to come up here and share this, how I literally pivot in these times, and how I set myself up in a position to be able to thrive once we come out of this market correction. I have been setting myself up, and I've been setting myself up since the last time we had the market correction, which in 2008, when we went into that last recession. I think that's really when things started to perk up, and I was like able to know that I could take risk while I was young, and I'm not nervous about, taking these risks. And hey, sister, how you doing? It looked like you came on my YouTube channel, but how you doing? And so I'm just really glad that whoever just dropped in to hear me talk. I think I'm going to start doing these lives again, because, like, people need that fire put on some of you guys need to burn down your entire life and just do what's really going to set your soul on fire. A lot of you guys need that push. And if I can be here to say something to encourage you, to let you understand that, like, it's okay to be scared. Like, it's okay to be scared. And if you understand that you can figure out anything, we're in the times where we have so much information in our hands. It's easy. But I'm also here to let you know that I am a wealth of wisdom. And if you're looking for that, I always have consultations, like 45-minute consultations that I have. I can drop the link in there where you can come and we can talk about your business and see how you can pivot. This is more of consulting. So these are recommendations. In order for me to really do that work, I would have to just really take you on as a full client. But if you are interested and you are in the space of design, if you're needing engineering services, like I said, there's a broad range of engineering services that I offer, but lean is really where I'm impacting project management, construction management, manufacturing. These are a lot of my expertise: interior design, ergonomics, which have to do in the well-being space and corporate wellness. And people are just like, how do you know all these things? I'm 41 years old. I've worked in different industries. And like I said, once again, I'm just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just always here to serve. And I want to help everybody become the best they can be. And we can't do it alone. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. Maybe I'll see you guys soon when I get another little nudge to get up here and talk. But I hope everybody's having an amazing Saturday, and see you soon.